So welcome back, everyone, all you fans of popcorn and beers. We are here, and where some use tomatoes and others use thumbs, we use the stuff that gets you drunk. This is a little Bud Light Seltzer Tangerine.
Oh, Bud Light, you know who drinks that? Kid Rock. Kid Rock drinks Bud Light.
Yeah, I heard he loves it. I heard it's his absolute favorite.
Yeah, he got caught. He was caught sipping on one. I have a bubbly.
No, that's not what fancy people call it. Thank you, Jordan. Thank you for correcting him.
It's French. That
reminds me. Would you like a Fresca? Now we're going to do something a little bit different this week. We're going to switch up the format. We are not going to keep the people waiting. We are going to give the people what they want. And that is the butter on top from this week, which was Blue Beetle.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
Yes. I'm going to go ahead and start. I just got out of it, to be honest. You guys will see the TikTok. Thank you all for following TheSadFan on TikTok. I know a lot of you do because I see you watching the videos. I will say this. I really hope the community embraces this movie. And by the community, I mean the Latin community, because it is heavily Latin, and they lean into it hard, and they celebrate heritage. They do something silly at the end. It's essentially, do you need a ride? And that old trope of, hey, I'm the superhero, man. I'm going to fly you away from here, young lady, even though you're a billionaire and I'm living this ghetto shack. But I was really hoping, Jordan, there, that she would go, how about I give you a ride? And then he hopped on the back of her bike. I was really hoping that's how that would go down. It is not, as you guys can all tell. But it is super Latin. Super Latin. From the moment George Lopez, who I still haven't decided if he's still funny or not. Like, I'm right in limbo. I'm like, is he funny? Is he not funny? I can't decide.
He's funny like your dad's friend is, you know?
Go ahead, Jordan. He's
funny. He's funny like your kind of drunk, creepy uncle at the barbecue.
Yeah.
So he is the character he plays in this movie, then?
Yeah, he's funny. I seen him live doing stand-up comedy like a few months ago, maybe, and he's funny. He's still got it.
Yeah.
This movie is Latin all the way down to the Vix.
Yes. Yes.
Can you please explain that for our mayonnaise demographic?
Yeah, of course. Jordan, go ahead. You licked your lips like you were ready to get in.
Well, I wrote it down. It's in my notes. Yeah.
Okay.
Your Mexican grandmas, abuelas, if you will.
Abuelas.
They believe that Vicks can cure anything. It's like the miracle medicine. Vicks Sprite. And then at one point, she's like, the girl's kind of scared and nervous. She's like, here, bite on this. It'll make you feel better. And she gives her just like a whole lemon peel out of her purse.
Yeah.
Like
just sitting in her purse?
Yes. Yeah. Just Mexican grandma wizardry on full display.
I love the homage to Cheech and Chong right when he pulls up. You see him a couple times throughout the movie, but Cheech and Chong right on the dashboard, a couple bobbleheads.
Yeah,
I thought that was funny. I did like George Lopez's character in this movie, and I do like that they didn't overwhelm you with him. It wasn't like, oh my god, enough of the funny side character already. It was just enough, in my opinion. Just enough. It was again heavy-handed on the financial state and state of the youth and immigrant population in America. Very heavy-handed. Like, they're like, hey, we got an issue with where college students are today. We got an issue with where immigrants are today. We got an issue with, instead of building up communities, you're gentrifying them. We got an issue. Like, it was just right from the jump. Boom, 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 boom. Yeah. I believe one of the first lines in the movie is, sir, would you mind if you tell me, does this look okay? And he goes, it looks like you're about 6 figures in debt. Yeah. That's one of the first lines in the whole movie.
Damn.
So it was very heavy-handed. It was one of the best transformation scenes, I thought, of most movies.
Cool.
When he gets his power. Yeah, I thought it was hilarious. It was a mix of so many different horror/action movies. The fight had shades of Iron Man 1 in it. The final boss battle had shades of Iron Man 1 in it. If you watch it, like I bet there will be a TikTok. In fact, this is my prediction. There will be a TikTok breakdown of a side by side showing that fight's probably eerily similar. It might be the exact same fight.
There's a ton of scenes that are kind of that's copied. Basically, it's the same scene as a bunch of other superhero movies that have come out. I've seen it.
Yeah. So again, I'm gonna tell you, I gave it a popcorn and 2. It is not a bad movie. It's not a bad movie, but it's so inside that I'm gonna finally give you my final piece of this review. I hope again the community embraces this, the Latino community. It's not just a Mexican movie. It has shades. There were some Puerto Rican jokes. There were some Cuban jokes.
Yeah.
It is a Mexican family if you read the comic book, but it's so inside as far as the Latin community is concerned that my fear is it will not be embraced everywhere. I watched this movie in a movie theater in England, and there is a giant imperialist joke right at the end. And I was like, okay, all right. Okay. So I sank down in my seat a little bit, but then I was like, wait, I'm American. We're kind of imperialists too.
Yeah, it's not a surprise. I really don't see someone being offended by that. We're not imperialists. Imperialists.
Except for the people that are blind to it, Josh, which, as we're now aware, there's quite a few of them that don't truly understand.
Everyone knows that, though.
Everyone's a bit absolutist. I think there's a lot of people that don't believe themselves to be what they actually are.
Yep.
You're an intelligent man. Stop giving your attributes to other people.
It's like, yeah, your granddaddy probably did some of that stuff, you know? I mean, as far as like
Christopher
not you,
Columbus
Josh, but...
was an imperialist. It started that anyway. We're getting too deep.
That was the other funny thing is in my head, because I live in Europe, Josh. I immediately thought to myself, it's a Mexican family with an imperialist joke, and then I said, I wonder how that's going to play in Spain. That's immediately where my head went. But go ahead, Jordan.
Yeah, it's very cultural, but I feel like they did it in an authentic way. It didn't come off too just kind of sellout-y to embrace the culture. It was done very, very well. But that being said, yes, it was maybe just, it may not be that appealing to people outside of the culture, you know? I loved it. Everything you pointed out, all the little cultural callbacks. I love when I believe it's the scene where he starts to transform, where they're playing Vicente Fernandez. And it's just like, man, I got all the feelings from that. Just
the bitty bitty bomb scene.
Yeah, I was playing Selena, all that.
I was like, oh my goodness, that played at your baptism. What's it called after the baptism? Like the reception. The reception. Yeah, that was your reception was. So I was like, even at 10 years old, I was like, damn. Jordan is very Mexican. There was a lot of Selena going on at your reception.
Yeah, like I said, I hope that the culture embraces this movie, and so that way that we get more movies kind of like this. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
The action in this was very satisfying, I thought, and it was followable. So when you get these superhero movies and you get these action scenes that are all CGI and stuff, it kind of just seems like a mash of explosions and computer stuff flying around, and you can't really follow, but you can really follow the punches and the acrobatics of all the action scenes in this very easily.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, a lot of movies like that, they forget that the camera is the most important part. It doesn't matter how many superheroes you shove in the frame, you know.
Yeah, I feel like Transformers, the latest Transformers, as not great as it was, also kind of did that too. They did a decent job of making it followable. So let's get more of that in these superhero movies. There was some unforgivably corny moments, and as decent as the CGI was throughout it, there was some really terribly bad moments of CGI in it that were just like, oh my God, why are they doing this?
The bus cut in half was kind of terrible CGI. That was one point where I was like, that's not great CGI.
You get the.
That's not a spoiler. That's in the trailer, by the way.
A large section of the kind of in the payoff moments of the movie are the grandma coming back to her guerrilla warfare roots
Yeah.
and carrying around a big Gatling gun and just kind of being a badass, and it's way too much.
Too much.
I wish there was more information about the Scarab. You get nothing. You get no lore, no nothing.
Well,
and
that's
I'm sure-
good for episode. I mean, I don't know. I think that's interesting. I love it when they skip the origin story. Basically, no, they didn't this time, of course, but they skipped that part.
No, they did. No, they did.
Oh, well, that's
Yeah.
great. I love that. That's why we love Tom Holland Spider-Man so much, because we got past Uncle Ben. Now we're Spider-Man. Like, just get to it. I love that.
Yeah. But you get nothing out of that. And with this movie, it was kind of teetering on if it was going to be one of those movies that got the axe from WB.
Yeah.
And it's like, if you don't know if you're going to get a second movie, like, why not just make the best possible movie you can and give us a little bit more? Just give us a little bit more of that.
It was 2 hours as it was.
Like, I know.
We're good.
I know. Yeah.
Sorry, I have
agree.
to disagree with you. At 2
No,
hours,
I agree with that. But it's like, what could we have? What could they have maybe cut down on just to give us just 10 minutes more of just some kind of backstory?
George Lopez.
Yeah.
No, probably the little sister, to be honest. I hate to say that.
Or the grandma. The grandma.
I was fine with the grandma.
Grandma.
The little sister was more annoying than the grandma.
Yeah, she pretty much. I thought George Lopez, he killed it. He looks rough though, man. He's showing his age. He's wearing it. Susan Sarandon.
Does he ever look good?
He's.
I've never looked at George Lopez and been like, look at that stud.
Yeah.
He looked younger.
Yeah. Susan Sarandon looks great, but did not kill this role.
I mean,
she was not good in this role.
She didn't need this role. This is a money grab for her. Like Sigourney Weaver in Defenders,
Right, yeah.
Oh no.
I hope the star Jolo Marduena, Jolo, I guess how it's pronounced, from Karate Kid fame. I really hope he can be big time. I thought he was good. I really liked
He's going to
him.
be big time, as well as the Flamin' Hot Kid. Flamin' Hot
Well,
Kid. Those two are going to be
Karate Kid already has a new season and filming right now. So
great.
He's just got that baby face, so maybe one. I hope he can make it to some bigger time roles. Maybe not a leading man, but just some big roles.
I do like that he's not overly ripped in this movie. I did like that. He's just a normal guy, kind of like Tom Holland's Spider-Man. I guess Tom Holland's moved past that. No, I guess he's still kind of scrawny a little bit. Yeah. So he's got like that skinny muscle going on still, and I kind of like that as opposed to putting him in the gym all during pre-production. I was like, no, that's realistic. Like, he's a kid that just graduated from college, probably living off of McDonald's and stuff.
Yeah.
And that's how he should look.
Yeah. There is a credit scene. I'm not going to spoil it. It's not all that additive to the actual plot or the story or really anything. Kind of teases the sequel, but you don't really understand. It doesn't give you any kind of backing with it to make it something that you're like, oh, okay. It's just kind of like, well, all right, what was that? I'd like to see more though. I would like to see a sequel to this. So I hope they make it. I'm gonna give it a popcorn and 2 as well. I had it at just a very, very good popcorn and 1, but I'm gonna give it I'm gonna squeak it into a popcorn and 2. I think
that's
it's
what
right
I did.
there on the borderline. Yeah.
On the borderline, pun intended. Love it. And for the audience, if you do not know, Josh was referring to himself as mayonnaise because I am half Puerto Rican and Jordan is half Mexican. So we bring the tint to this episode.
Tint.
Now, Josh is a heavy comic book reader, so everyone knows. Josh, are you familiar with the Blue Beetle storyline?
I'm not familiar much with the character. I know some of the powers and kind of the origin, but not really. I'm not really that much of a DC guy, but I have always really liked Blue Beetle's design and just the general concept, but I don't know much about the character. I'm sorry.
I think you might enjoy it.
Back to it.
No, I think you'll enjoy this movie. I do, as
It's a
someone
good
going in
movie.
a little bit blind. And again, like I think that this is gonna be, if the culture embraces it, one of those movies that's very impactful, kind of like the Latino culture's Black Panther, if you will,
I think it's
if they
gonna
embrace it.
I think it's gonna bomb pretty hard, but
Yeah, you're probably right. You're probably right.
I think it's going to recoup over the next few weeks. Maybe not recoup its budget, but it's going to make a lot more money. It's going to
I
slowly
think it's.
get some watches.
Did you think that it was like a half-assed media campaign? It seemed less than Shazam to me.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I did.
Shazam bombed hard. Like there wasn't
Yeah.
much around for Blue Beetle. I saw like one merchandise thing, like Doritos or Blue Beetle themed, but like besides that, like there's not a lot of commercials out.
Yeah,
I'm not
I think
seeing
they're
much.
just scared with the direction of DC with what their plans are and James Gunn.
Well,
and all that.
Gunn is taking over, so
Yeah.
it's all over. But Jordan, I don't want to leave you. I don't want to leave you. You are the one, Josh. Can you please deliver our rankings right now as far as points are concerned when it comes to the Drunk Classic? Where are we at? I think you still have the record. You have the highest amount.
Yeah, I
Jordan
believe I'm
isn't.
4. Jordan, I
Okay.
think you're 3,
Yes.
Okay.
and
that
Fry's at
includes
1
this
still,
one.
aren't you?
I'm at 1. Does that include this one for Jordan?
Yes.
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 Okay, awesome. We are going to deliver you accurate rankings after every Drunk Classic, and I want to be very clear. We're not actually trying to stump. Well, Josh might be trying to get me, but we're not actually trying to get each other with movies we haven't seen. We're genuinely giving you movies that we think you should watch, and that's why it's so interesting. As all of us love film, when we get each other and we catch a film that we haven't seen before, because that gives us an opportunity to expound upon our knowledge and expound upon our inventory of movies we've seen.
And
Go
of
ahead,
course,
Josh.
just like you said, like you talk about movies with someone, you're sitting there at the water cooler, in the chat room. Anyway, you're talking to somebody about movies, you get excited, and then something comes up, and I haven't seen that, and you're like, oh, we gotta
What?
see that. Everybody
Yeah.
says that all the time. You gotta see it, bro. So now
You need to watch
this is
it
our
twice.
chance. This is our chance to make people watch movies. Like, you have to, because it's the
Yeah.
game, not you. I hope you watch it, but like us. Like, I'm making you watch a movie you haven't seen. It's not so much I got you. It's more like, yeah, cool.
Do your homework, buddy.
But it is the lowest priority to make you watch a movie. I want everyone to just watch good movies. I'm not, in my opinion.
Just watch good movies, or get your opinion. Like, what's your insight? Because my insight is not the only one that exists. So I want to hear what other people think. So don't forget to leave comments for us. But I brought it to Jordan because, again, Jordan hadn't seen this one yet.
Yeah.
So Jordan, go ahead and lead off with your review.
Okay. So,
what was the movie, by the way?
Oh, sorry. Yes, the movie was 7 Psychopaths. I had to rent it on Apple TV Plus.
Okay.
I remember why I didn't see this movie, and it's because the preview sold it very weirdly and just not on the greatest parts of its humor.
Okay.
I remember the preview being the scene where what's his name? Sorry, the old man.
Christopher
Walken, yes. Christopher Walken, and the guys are going, put your hands up. And he's like, no. He's like, but I've got a gun. I don't care. I was like, this movie looks stupid. And
I love that line.
It's one of the best scenes ever.
When I seen that scene, I was like, this is, now I remember why I didn't watch this. But other than that, I thought this movie was super hilarious. Sam Rockwell, Fry's man crush. He among great actors, he just absorbs the whole scene. He's just a black hole in the scene where he leaves no oxygen for anybody else in this room.
Colin Farrell might as well not have been there.
I like how just the funny little things, like every time someone's like he says something really off the wall and they go, huh? And then he repeats that same thing just exactly like verbatim in the same tone.
Yeah.
He's like, no, I want you to hear this stupidity.
Yeah.
The dialogue is hilarious. The movie's just hilariously dumb. And it combined with the pacing of those scenes and everything, it's good enough to distract you from kind of how unclear and aimless the story mostly seems throughout it. And you're like, okay, I see the story kind of developing here and what this plot is meant to the shape of what this is meant to be. But it's also just, it doesn't actually fully form into just something concrete that you're like, okay, I get this movie. It's dumb men doing and saying dumb man stuff.
Yes. Yeah.
But it comments on that though, like all your women characters suck. Like,
yeah.
The threat, one of my favorite scenes that just kicked my ass. It killed me was the threat on the dog collar. So the whole movie is basically premised around they steal dogs and con people and for reward money. And they steal the guy, the gangster guy that you're not supposed to mess with. They steal his dog. And they look at the dog collar when they kind of realize who it is, and it's like, return this dog or you will effing die. That took me out. I gave this one a very good popcorn and a beer.
Popcorn beer.
Nice popping beer. One. Josh, you want to go? You want to go before me?
I don't have a lot to say. Early in the movie, maybe midway through, they're in the movie theater watching a movie where a guy gets slapped over and over.
Yeah.
That's Violent Cop, that one Japanese cop show I told you about way back in the early 80s. The guy from Takeshi's Castle. Yeah,
that's, so that's way back in our history.
Yeah, but I remember I told you about that scene where the guy he slaps him over and over and over. That wasn't even a quarter of the scene. So interestingly caught that. And I love towards the end, Sam Rockwell just shouts out, "You can't let the animals die." And that's always what we say. We always say that.
Yes.
That's funny. But yeah, just going back to the movie in general, I remember saying, I saw it before, and I remember leaving the theater thinking, I'm not sure if I like that. Not like I'm not sure if it was good or not. I wasn't sure if I enjoyed the movie. I wasn't sure if it was a good movie. I don't know. And I'm kind of in the same boat, dog. Like, I'll go with you. It's a popcorn in one because it's so intriguing. It keeps your attention. It is aimless, but somehow also very precise with where it goes in the pacing. I don't know. It's a strange movie. Rockwell.
It foreshadows itself throughout the whole movie.
Yeah.
Yes. And then, the movie. Yeah. So you're like, okay.
So there we are again with a movie inside a movie inside a movie, super meta, ultimate genius surprise. But it's pretty early in the game. That stuff's not exactly new, but this is, in that sense, sort of ahead of its time, since that's such a trend nowadays.
Yeah.
That's cool. Like I said, Colin Farrell only didn't need to be there because of Rockwell and Christopher Walken as well. I mean, Christopher Walken in this surprisingly serious, he brought some real gravity to it with just a stare, which is cool.
When you discover who he's actually playing, it makes sense why he's acting like that.
Yeah, and then going on to that, so that's a reveal. Not going to spoil because it's worth just watching. But it reminded me, this movie reminded me very much of Smoking Causes Cancer, that French movie I reviewed, because a lot of the movie was short stories, all just jammed together. So the actual plot of the movie kind of hardly happened. A lot of the maybe even half the movie was like short stories that are attached to the movie, but not the main plot. I don't know. A lot of backstory exposition told through short stories. I don't know. Way too much talking here. I thought it was a popcorn in one movie. It's weird. Old people wouldn't like it, I'm sure.
Yeah.
I don't know. Christopher Walken's in it. Anyway, ageist. So, I gave it a popcorn and 2 beers. And I really enjoy this movie. I'm a sucker for good dialogue. And I'm finding that about myself as we continue this show.
Dialogue,
I will like a bad movie more if there's good dialogue. Like if the writing is really solid, pay the writers. If the writing is really solid, I'm in and I can't help myself because I like interesting dialogue. I hear a lot of it. Like the visuals cool, that scene was amazing, but like that dialogue, if it's on point, I'm in. And the dialogue in this movie is so funny. Like when Josh said we don't kill the animals, the scene is what he says is you save the rabbit because you can't kill animals. You can only kill women.
Yeah.
And he says it so seriously that it's just so funny. And then
he's so good. It's worth watching just for him. He's so good.
I do have Rockwell loves his dog. And when they're in the car and they're driving to their campsite because they're going camping. I'm not going to tell you why they're going camping, but they're going camping. And they're driving to the campsite, and he goes, and then we have a big whole shootout. And Colin Farrell goes, there's not going to be a shootout. And he goes, no shootouts. What are we making? A bleeping French film? It's funny. The cutscene at the very end is great. The dog during the shootout finally giving Rockwell the paw. You'll find out what that means. Woody Harrelson playing reverse John Wick is fantastic. But again, the dialogue, Christopher Walken's dialogue with his wife, Woody Harrelson has a very strong scene with the actress that plays Christopher Walken's wife. And that scene was very hardcore. Language warning. So if you're triggered by racist language, that scene is hard to watch. However, if you are willing to understand that it is just a film and they are just doing dialogue as actor and actress, that is a strong scene for Woody Harrelson and the actress that is playing Christopher Walken's wife. I apologize for not knowing her name, but the two of them share the screen together in a very strong way.
Yeah.
So, as you guys saw, audience, we moved what we were watching to the back half. So, Jordan, what were you watching this week?
I got to watch The Pope's Exorcist. I got my horror fix on, starring Russell Crowe. It is on Netflix now.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's
U.S. Netflix.
Yes. You're getting the story. I think it's based on true events, whether you believe in religion and demons and ghosts and things like that. It's the skeptic's exorcist. Is basically Russell Crowe, who he's playing. Until chaos ensues, and then he's forced to confront that. I mean, it's kind of like the movie. Obviously he believes in this stuff because he is the highest ranking exorcist in all of the church, but he's also very like, this is an exorcist, when very clearly the person seems like they're possessed. He's like, this is just mental illness. Like, this is just psychological issues. So there's a lot of that in his dialogue and his story. And he's under the direction of this like Nick Fury like Pope. The Pope is kind of he's got a strange attitude, this Pope. It's kind of funny. It's a funny dynamic between him and Russell Crowe. It's also very national treasure, like church national treasure. They discover it's got like the Spanish Inquisition backstory and all this kind of stuff in it. Yeah, it tries.
It's interesting.
For a exorcist movie, this genre has just been beat to death, and it's going to continue to be, just given to us again and again and again. It tries its hardest to be original, and it does a fairly okay job. The movie, it just constantly teased my sense of humor, though. It was good, but I just couldn't help but make fun of it. The demons are really gullible, and you can basically defeat them with like Looney Tunes style antics. Like there's like an opening scene where there's a guy that's possessed, and they go, bring that pig in from the field out there. Bring the pig in. And you bring the guy, a farmer guy brings a pig in. He goes, okay, demon, you're so smart, you're so powerful. Possess this pig. I bet you can't do it. And the demon's like, what? And goes into the pig, and then they just shoot the pig in the head. It's like, wow, that was easy.
Wow.
Yeah. The main kid who gets possessed, as often in this movie, just looks super possessible. You're like, oh yeah, I kind of get it. The kid
looks
already
possessible is a funny sentence. Right. Like, you walk down the street and you're like, that kid looks possessible.
Asking for it.
He already kind of looks gaunt and possessed and malnourished. You're like,
he's wearing the clothes that I'd like to possess.
He's like, he's an easy target. It makes sense. When you see the kid, you're gonna be like, oh yeah. Oh,
asking for it for sure.
Yeah.
What did you do to lure the demon?
He plays with Ouija boards and does weird shit.
Oh, goodness gracious.
Russell Crowe is old and not in the best shape.
Yeah.
And he's playing a priest, and so in a couple of scenes, he's in his full priest garb and moderately husky, and he's riding around this little red Vespa and he just looks gigantic and hilarious on it. Which is a European thing. It's not that odd for just
No.
big burly men to be riding around Vespas, but in America it's a little not less masculine, I guess,
Right,
of a
right.
scene to see.
To be riding around on Vespas.
Yeah, it's funny to me. I also give this a good popcorn and beer. It's very watchable, but it's just a genre that's been beat to death. But it's a good one. I think it's a good entry in the genre.
Jordan playing the tough critic.
Speaking of
this week.
big Russell Crowe, I think it was like maybe the first episode we did, or very near it. I reviewed the Russell Crowe movie where he does road rage on that girl.
Yeah,
what was that one called?
Movie.
Oh yeah,
Unhinged. Yeah.
Yeah, he was big boy in that too, and it was a good for the character.
I like that.
But
I like
man,
that.
that was.
I enjoyed that movie too.
Yeah,
it is a heavy movie, but it's just like him just straight going absolutely ape-ish.
Oh yeah, and like every time he goes, like he kills someone, you're like, whoa, really did not expect him to just like straight up kill that dude.
Yeah, and you never really get an explanation.
It's not that far fetched
he's
just
just a crazy
guy. People in the news,
QAnon,
things that you see in the news.
Heavily pilled.
Yeah.
All right, really quick, what I was watching. I had a Plaza Palooza myself. I watched 2 Aubrey Plaza films that I've been trying to get to. And just so everybody knows, 7 Psychopaths was on Amazon. And then so was this film, Safety Not Guaranteed, with Aubrey Plaza, Jake Johnson. Most people know him from The New Girl, but if you're a film fan, he's been in quite a few funny movies.
He's in Tag.
He's in Tag as well.
He's Spider-Man.
Yeah, What's that?
He's Spider-Man.
What? Is he?
I don't know what you're talking
about. The guy
about.
with the beard? Yeah, he plays Spider-Man Peter B. Parker. Right?
Oh, in the universe?
Yeah, across the universe. He's Spider-Man's mentor, Spider-Man.
Oh, yes, the voiceover. The voiceover. Yeah, you're right. Sorry.
Points for you.
Get killed.
Yeah. Point for you. The animation. I was so confused. I was like, when did he play Spider-Man? And then you're right. Yes, yeah. In Miles Morales, Across the Universe. Yes, nailed it. Sorry, Josh. Both of us are like, what?
So good.
So in this movie, Safety Not Guaranteed. Oh, and it also stars, Karan Soni, Deadpool's taxi cab driver. I want to give him some credit because he was really good in this. And he has actually an impactful scene with Jack Johnson in the film where they're sitting down, and Jack Johnson just got rejected because of the real reason why he goes on this trip. And I'm not going to reveal the real reason he goes on this trip because it's kind of a plot twist. But he just gets rejected, and he hates himself, and it does seem like he's trying to make a fool out of Karan Soni's character. And Karan Soni goes, do you just want me to go in there and embarrass myself? Are you going to laugh at me? You just want to laugh at me. And he goes, no, man. And then there's a very good dialogue that follows that. Interesting writing. But anyway, this whole film is predicated on a reporter finding an ad for someone to go back in time with somebody that has invented a time machine. And the whole ad reads down, and it's like, your safety's not guaranteed, is the end of this ad. Aubrey Plaza crushes her role as someone just seeking meaning in her life. She's just looking for something she's good at. And it's so funny because she ends up an intern at a newspaper, which is how she ends up on this trip. And she even accused Jack Johnson's character of, are you just that guy that gets his interns to do the whole story for him and then writes it and takes credit? Right? It's interesting. Mark Duplass is great in this film as somebody that goes back in time. There is a lot of twists and turns that will spoil this film for you. It is over 11 years old, but I'm still not going to spoil it. All you need to know is be careful what you search online. And sometimes the people that write in the classifieds are legit.
Yeah.
All right. I give it a popcorn and 1. Go ahead, Josh.
I go popcorn and a good 1.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it in quite a while.
You just said I agree, but I appreciate it.
Well, I almost went 2.
You wanted to.
It's a popcorn and a good 1. Yeah. I haven't seen it in a while, but I'm glad you watched it because it reminded me. I really like that movie. It's strange, but it's really, it's beautiful in its own way. Quietly beautiful.
Yeah. Lots of good dynamics that hold up, I think. Still, like the searching for lost love, searching for self. Like it's a good movie. It's a solid movie. Solid popcorn and 1. Next one I watch is Black Bear with Aubrey Plaza. Not a ton of names in this film. A couple people you will recognize from their other work. But Aubrey Plaza is the star. The awkward is so beginning. And then you realize, oh, wait, that was just Act 1 because right in the middle it says, get ready for Act 2. And here comes Act 2. And it's a totally different story. But it's the same story in a totally different story. But this time, they're not writing a book. Aubrey Plaza is an actress, and she's acting in a film that's very similar to what she was going to the cabin to write the book about. But I will say this, the husband and wife's cabin that she's at, the husband and wife had the most awkward interaction, and all I could think to myself is, who acts like this upon meeting somebody for the first time? Because it was so awkward. There was no trying to impress. There was a very accusatory behavior immediately. Just some weird stuff that go on. I gave it a poppin' 2 because, again, the dialogue is very interesting. The film is very interesting. There's a lot of narratives at play in this film, multiple narratives that you got to keep up with. And how I watch movies, I actually had to stop what I was doing and just really pay attention to the film so I could try to catch on to everything. But then the way it ends, it's like, oh my gosh, so was this all in her head? Did this actually happen? Is this going into the script? Was there a film that she's drawing inspiration from to write her next script? It was just, you don't get a lot of explanation. You don't get closure in this film. Okay, there's no closure. You think you get closure, but then you realize, oh, that's not closure. So I gave it a popcorn at 2. It gives you great insight into a take on what it's like to be a celebrity, and it gives you a great take on what it's like to create a movie in general, and the stress it can put on the cast and the crew. This show can be stressful, especially if you sprint straight from the movies right to the review, because we all have other jobs, and we really need you, the audience, to end those other jobs for us by subscribing, rating, reviewing, following. Follow our Instagrams, follow our TikTok, follow us on YouTube at the SadFan Podcast Network. You can reach me at the SadFan Cast. You can reach me on TikTok and Instagram at the SadFan12. Jordan, where can they reach the show?
At Popcorn and Beer on Twitter.
On Twitter, soon to be an Instagram and a TikTok. He's going to do it. I promise. There'll be one. The content will come after it, but the address will exist. Josh, where can they reach you?
I'm at the Gorp Show. You know, we have that other show, Gorp. At Gorp Show on X.
Yeah.
And we have TikToks, and we're on Instagrams as well. It's at Gorp Show. Speaking of X... Let me drop the
Drunk Classic knowledge on us. A little knowledge.
It contains no less than 3 of the greatest rappers of all time. That's Method Man, Nas, and DMX is in it as well. The movie's called Belly.
I was literally about to say, are you having us watch like Belly, or is this going to be a Steven Seagal film?
Have you seen Belly?
No, I've seen bits and pieces of it, kind of like Jordan. Kind of like Jordan had seen Boogie Nights. That's how I've seen Belly, is I've been in a lot of households that have had Belly like playing in the background.
Belly is always playing in the background. That's the rule.
I've seen bits and pieces of it too, so I don't know how that counts for points. I'll take a point on that.
Yeah, you
I
get
haven't
points.
seen it all the way. Yeah.
That means 2, 4, and 4 for this week. Yeah. Wow. Belly, great movie. It's a gangster flick. It's poorly made, but it's also well made in some ways. The director is Hype Williams. His other work before this movie was music videos. Very, very successful, but they are still just music videos. You catch that influence throughout the movie.
Isn't Tyrese Gibbs in this movie?
Tyrese might be in it. Who knows? There's all kinds of people. It's a very, very BET type of movie. It's got some flavor in it.
Yeah.
And I'll talk more about it when we see it next week. What else is going on?
Our butter on top for this week is going to be a bunch of funny, crude talking dogs. We're going to watch a movie called Strays.
Welcome to the party, audience.
Yeah.
Welcome to the party.
Cool, Strays.
Oh, wait.
Strays, yeah.
All right, everyone. We love you. We look forward to seeing you. Please, the Drunk Classic is available right now. Strays is in theaters right now. Join us at the movies. Let us know what you think. Comment on this one and review it before we get to it. Let us know what we should expect. No spoilers. As always, we'll see you at the movies. You bring the popcorn and we got the beer. Perfect. That's
cool,
good.
Dude.
That's a good episode. Sorry, I was sweating into my eyes. and I was trying not to. Yeah.